Welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be breaking down a beat that I think would sound really good for 6lacks' next album, maybe for his intro. Before we start, I need you guys to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and leave a comment for any ideas you might have. We might turn this into a series, and let's get into it. First of all, I use these cassette keys in Contact. I put the reverse on, as you can see. I brought the attack up just to make it a bit more ambient, almost like a pad. And then I took the noise off, and yeah, it sounds like this. For effects, I started off with the J37 with the high shimmers preset. Then I used this FabFilter Timeless 2. It's a slightly different delay to what I'd normally use, but it has some cool presets and really unique sounds in it. So I just chose the Phaser Blue preset, brought the wet mix up and brought the dry mix down a little bit. After that, I added quite a heavy reverb because I want it to be very distant and airy. And finally an EQ to cut some lows out and a little bit of the highs as well. Next up, I went into Lounge Lizard and I found this really clean, plucky kind of sound. I just copied the exact same chords and it sounds like this. First of all, I opened up cassette and chose the movement preset. This just gives it a nice kind of vintage sound. Then again, a FabFilter Timeless 2, the chorus wah preset, just messed around with the wet mix and stuff like that. And finally, I cut some lows out with the EQ. Then I added two percussive elements. First of all, I opened up the granulizer and I just found a preset that I liked. Then I threw in a perk from a random drum kit, messed around with the settings a little bit. I also threw in this riser sound. I just pitched it all the way down and time stretched it so it fit perfectly, and they both sound like this. The final melodic element for this section of the beat is this choir sound that I found from Piano Book. If you guys haven't seen my Piano Book video, go and check that out, link in the description. Super fire website, loads of free contact banks on there. So yeah, it's just this some voices choir sound, and it sounds like this. The only effect on that is a shaper box to make it pulse, kept the mix at 100% so you can really notice it. My next step was to bounce all those melodies into one waveform so I could mess around with it and flip it a little bit. I bounced two versions, so the first version doesn't have that plucked sound, it's only got the reverse keys, and the second one obviously does have the plucked sound. I've also got a version which is pitched down and one that's obviously at its regular pitch. And then I've also done these little reverse chops in throughout the beat, as you can see here, just for a little bit of variety and, you know, uniqueness. Then I moved straight into the drums and started off with this very simple snare. Next, some hi-hats. Next Next I layered the snare with a perk that has some reverb on, just to give it a bit of texture and depth to the beat. After that is a kick. And finally is this synth bass. Lots of Black songs have switch ups and lots of instrumentation and stuff like that, so I wanted to add some strings for a bridge kind of section. So I just copied the exact same chords, but I did two types of strings, one bit higher and softer and one with a bit more depth and width to it, and they both sound like this. What I'm going to do for one final element is I'm going to add a transitional section for the end of the beat, which would transition into the next song on the album. That's something maybe most producers don't do when they're just trying to make some beats, but in the process of making a whole album, this is something that gets done, gets thought about, you know, how is it going to go from one song to the next. So yeah, I'm going to do that now and show you guys how I go about it. So I just copied those chords over for reference, just so I can see what notes I've already got, but I'm going to try and change it up and kind of flip the chord progressions to something a bit different. What I'm trying to do is create more of a Summer Walker kind of vibe, a bit more kind of sexy chords rather than really dark. So what I'm doing is adding some harmonic minor notes and stuff like that, and hopefully it'll sound good in a little bit. So that's what I would make if I was producing a song on Black's next album. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and a comment and let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one.